What's up, superfans? It is Fit Nerd from Superheroes Ultimate, and Wolverine is back from the dead, baby! Let's talk about issues 1 and 2. If you're new to this channel, then hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications button so you can stay updated in the here and now in the superhero world. Now, before we discuss issues 1 and 2, I was fortunate enough to actually be called up at New York Comic Con by X-Men editor Jordan D. White, and I had the incredible opportunity to read issue number 2 1 month prior to its release. Now, before that, let's recap where all of this is coming from. Since the 4-part series Death of Wolverine, Wolverine was pretty much left dead by Marvel for quite a while. Marvel didn't go and just resurrect him out of nowhere. They went on and hinted at the idea that he might still be alive with the one-shot Hunt of Wolverine. Now, in the Hunt of Wolverine, we have the original X-Men fighting against the Ravagers, which are trying to steal the adamantium encased Wolverine because his body is worth a fortune, but the adamantium itself is worth even more. Within this one shot, this is our first glimpse at when we actually saw that he was still alive. We do not know what was going on. It seems like he was being trained as a Weapon X again, but this is the only glimpse that we get up until the most recent events of Return of Wolverine. This one shot led into four-part series of multiple teams locating his body to see if he was alive or truly dead. Yes, that's right, four-part series. That's 16 issues, starting with Weapon Lost, which is the team of Daredevil, Frank McGee, Misty Knight, and Cypher. Then we have the Adamantium Agenda, which is actually one of my favorites out of the 4, with the team of Iron Man, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones. Then we have the team from Claws of a Killer, which doesn't associate with the other teams of the good guys. These are the villains confirming if he is alive or dead, and if he is alive, they want him dead. In this team, we have Lady Deathstrike, Sabretooth, and Wolverine's very own son, Daken. And last but not least, we have the incredible team of Femme Fatales in Mystery and Madripoor, with Kitty Pryde, Psylocke, Jubilee, Storm, Rogue, and Domino. This is actually one of my second favorites out of the 4. Now, with all the teams finding out different things about Logan's whereabouts, in Hunt of Wolverine Dead Ends, we are met by the leaders of the 3 teams, which is Daredevil, Iron Man, and Kitty Pryde, discussing about the whereabouts and what they have discovered. While connecting all of the dots, they have discovered that there is more to the plot than originally anticipated, and it all leads to confirming that Wolverine is alive. Now, at the end of Hunt of Wolverine, not only do we see Logan's body being held up in chains, we discover the villain Persephone, which is behind the entire organization of Zoltera. Now, we still don't know what Zoltera is really up to, the bigger picture, and we still don't know how Wolverine plays into Persephone's big plot. Issue number 1 of the Return of Wolverine, we get the man himself right at the very get-go, the original yellow and blue Wolverine himself. Now, there is something different here. Now he has new abilities, the Heated Claws. Throughout the issue, we learn that Logan has lost all of his memory again. Seems like this is just a thing that Wolverine always goes through, is amnesia. As he puts his hands in a pool of blood, when he raises his hands, you can see the steam coming off of his claws. Here's where he finds himself with a random doctor that says he's behind all of this. Now, since we have a doctor in a laboratory, this kind of hints out that he may actually just be a clone, a 100% clone of the original Wolverine. Now, given that in Mystery and Madripoor, the way it ended with Betsy Braddock having a split persona, in other words, splitting up into 2 people, we had an instant where she actually came across the will or a piece of Wolverine's soul. This may be hinting that even though his body is dead, his soul may have somewhat been in there, and Persephone may have been the one to be able to bring him back to life and actually reach into him and actually bring back his original state. Now, throughout the issue, we really don't get much except for a bunch of bloody mess, a ton of fighting. We do get some cool old school Wolverine and a bike action, And we also get introduced into him being in a new suit. Now within this new suit, there is an ever-going theme in his belt with the 3 dots, which we also get throughout his flashbacks. Throughout the issue, we see the many versions of Wolverine. Patch Wolverine, and the original Wolverine from issue number 180 and 181 of Hulk. We all know that he's been used as a weapon by the government many times over, especially in the Weapon X program. One of the really cool things that I love about the Return of Wolverine is the art itself. The art is amazing. The writing, I will say, is not the greatest, and I know it's just the intro and it is the first issue, so there's not much going on except for the fact that Wolverine is waking up, he has amnesia, we get a bunch of fights, which are actually pretty cool, and we get a character called Anna. Now this doctor is trying to help him remember who he is, and he keeps on telling him he is the Wolverine. He used to be a superhero. So issue number 1 leaves us with a very broken Wolverine. But there isn't an Xavier or Jean Grey to help out. Alright, so let's talk about issue number 2, Return of Wolverine. Issue number 2 starts exactly where it left off in issue number 1. We have Anna and Wolverine seeking out Anna's son. Now we have the 2 of them out in the middle of nowhere on a speedboat. Mainly at the beginning we just get a bunch of exposition between Anna and Wolverine, and it seems like we have some type of romantic factor going on here. Shortly after, we get this kill team that is going after Wolverine. Here's where it gets super interesting, is that we do see Omega Red again. Now this Omega Red, in my opinion, looks a little bit puny from what the original Omega Red that we're used to. Omega Red is definitely a tie-in to Wolverine's past. Where it gets really fancy is when we find out who the other member of the kill team actually is. And this is tying in into the claws of a killer, where we find out that his son, Deacon, is still alive. Although I enjoyed the fight scene with Deacon and Wolverine, the fight scene between Omega Red and Wolverine didn't really exist. Given that he got shot in the head, I think it was just done off way too quick. And I hope he's not dead, because he should be a lot harder to kill. For me, issue number 2 felt a lot more exciting. His claws getting triggered by one of his memories. We're pretty close to seeing him go berserker rage, because once he starts getting a little bit more angry, that's when we see that the claws actually started to heat up. He used his heated claws and put him through a bunch of gasoline and burned the hell out of Deacon. That's a pretty gruesome ass scene, but clever nonetheless. Still, one of the pet peeves that I have right now is his outfit. His outfit is just reminding me too much of X-Men movies with just a big black leather suit. Hopefully they're bringing back the original suit, because at the end of the issue we get Jean Grey and letting Kitty Pryde that they found Logan. Issue number 3 is bound to be a gigantic episode, because we're going to get hopefully the entire X-Men going after Wolverine to either save him and bring him back with them, or they're going to have to fight, which looks to be he's going to be a bit of a tough fight now that he has new powers, is in full hell. Issue number 2 really awesome. The art is awesome. Looking at the panels and the fight scenes were definitely freaking cool as hell. Much better than the first issue. I think the issue number 1 was just an intro, and the intro was just one big exposition leading to issue number 2. Honestly, they could have just done the 4-part series just like they did with all the other ones and just left it at that. They had to intro him with all the amnesia and whatnot, so I get it. So where do you superfans think this is leading? Is this leading to one big ass epic fight between the X-Men and Wolverine? Is he gonna bring out this berserker rage on the X-Men? What do you think is the first thing that's gonna happen between him and Kitty Pryde when they first meet again? Can't wait to see all of the fantastic art in issue number 3, 4, and 5. And of course, superfans, if you want to be entered to win the Captain Marvel collectible from my private collection, then hit the subscribe button and comment below. Until the next, this is Fit Nerd, over and out.
3, 2, 1, a blue!